Hi there, I'm standing over here at the corner of Beaconsfield and Sherbrooke Street in NDG, which is the site of one of the most explosive, perhaps the most explosive thing that ever occurred in NDG. And it is not just a big explosion we're talking about, it's something that involves many, many layers of intrigue. And it happened right behind me at 3430 Beaconsfield, this home right here with a blue door. Basically what happened is on October 20, 1963, a man named Roland Haumont, who was 42 years old from France. In fact, he was a fighter in the French resistance. He was living here at this home with his 3 children, 2 daughters and a son, and of course his wife. And what happened is, out of the blue, the whole house blew up. The wife and 2 daughters were dead. The son, Mark, barely survived. And the father, Roland, who was a teacher in Binghamton, New York, the family was about to move to New York, in fact, to Binghamton the next week. The father and son were badly injured. In fact, Roland never really recovered from his injuries, and the son had major head injuries as well. So what happened is he was brought to the hospital, and when he recovered somewhat, he was told that he was a suspect in the explosion. The authorities believe that he might have actually planned the explosion which rocked this house. Why? Because there was a whole lot of tanks, gas tanks all along the side, and they said that they were perhaps loosened. So the crazy theory was that this guy, Roland Haumont, 42 years old, a war hero, French resistance, actually blew up his family. Now, the reasons for them thinking this were pretty obscure. They said that he had a mistress in New York, 20 years old, and he was very belligerent with the questioning, and when they asked him whether he had dreamt about killing anybody over the last year, he hesitated. That was the only real reason that a 5-member jury, coroner's jury, deemed him responsible for this blast, which was quite insane. Now, for about a month, he was being investigated, and his lawyer, Jean de Brabant, said he knew right away that Roland Haumont did not put the explosion. He did not kill his family by explosion. Why? Because he immediately volunteered to take a polygraph test. So the point was, he was absolutely innocent. They were trying to charge him. About a month after this jury said that he should be charged, a judge reversed it and basically said, nah, he's free. So eventually he was exonerated, but there's a whole other level to this crazy story, and this is what it is. Basically, at the time, he was very loud. He was not a very nice guy, this Roland Haumont, the victim of this crazy witch hunt. He liked to argue with everybody, and he was quite brutal. But he was also very loud denunciator of French collaborators, pro-Nazi people living in Quebec. He said there were quite a few of them. So he was very much on the side of de Gaulle and the anti-Nazis. However, at that time, Quebec was full of people who actually, there was a great strong elite supporting the pro-Nazis, the Vichy French. And that was shed light upon when a guy named de Bournonville came to Quebec, and he wanted to stay. So what happened is 143 notable academics and intellectuals signed a petition saying that de Bournonville should stay in Quebec. So what happened is those people on the petition, some of them were very, very much very powerful people. One of them, of course, was Robert Rumilly, who was a great historian, friend of Duplessis, very powerful man. The clergy, Lionel Groux, very much supported de Bournonville. De Bournonville being a major Nazi, a very bad guy, right-hand man of Klaus Barbie, who killed a lot of people. So signing this petition was absolutely nuts. A couple of others who signed the petition were later became prominent Parti Québécois cabinet members in the form of Denis Lazure and Camille Laurent. So really, this was really insane that all of these forces were out there in favor of the Vichy government, which of course, coming back to Roland Haumont, he was very much against, and he very much loudly denounced. So there's that other weird layer to the onion of this story. Were these powerful people, did they want to see this man, Roland Haumont, did they want to see him crushed and discredited because he was out there exposing French collaborators living in Quebec? Now, of course, there's this one other element, which is, of course, the house blew up by gas, and the gas company obviously didn't want to get sued. So when Justice Claude Wagner, exonerated Haumont, he also made it impossible for him to sue to get compensated for this incredible loss he suffered. And obviously, Haumont's life absolutely fell apart afterwards. He never moved to, New York to take his new professor job. He was, considered a suspect wherever he went. He was hired at Expo 67, became a professor. I should say he worked for the government for a little bit, but he wrote a book exposing the weakness in the academic system and in Quebec, and that got him in a bit of trouble. So Haumont was an absolute free spirit until the day he died. Not the nicest guy, but a total victim of injustice. And that all took place after the Great Blast at 3430 Beaconsfield on October 20, 1963. I'm Christian Gravener of Coolopolis, and I'm an author of the upcoming book, Montreal, 375 Tales of Eating, Drinking, Living and Loving.